And
he
he's
calls
not.
it magic.
He does?
With a K.
Really?
Yeah. Which is not. It's mental. It's obviously.
Yeah. No, it's but you know, I've watched him in action, and literally, like, the things he says are very obvious. He just has tactics. It's like, this is how you can make a woman want to have sex with you in about 2 minutes, and it does work. Then the question is, do you actually want to have sex with the woman who will have sex with you when you just lie to her for 2 minutes? Which, you know, I find completely dissatisfying. I don't know. Some people do. There's some people that just need to get laid, and that's their thing. Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, this isn't difficult, and it's fucked up how quickly it works and how easily it works. All you do is mirror the other person, watch how their eyes move, and learn from that. It's very simple. But at the same time, it does require a certain level of concentration. So I mentioned Jagoram, that's a big one. There's 2 other factors. And one is the yoga attainment of pratyahara, which if we read Curly's lectures on yoga, that's the ability to almost stand outside yourself and see your own mental processes take place. Having this skill, or having this yogic attainment, is essentially will make the knack of watching another person 1,000 times more easy. Because not just are you watching the other person, but you are watching yourself, and frankly, half of this equation, half of the cold reading equation, isn't just the other person, it's what you're projecting, what you're putting forward. And to behave in a certain way, to hold your body in a certain way, to hold your head in a certain way, to put your eyes in a certain way, the other person might not have the intellectual grasp of the idea that, well, when this person's eyes move this way, they're imagining, when they move the other way, they're remembering. But if you're consciously directing it, there are subconscious cues that they pick up on. And just because they're used to seeing those things, they will react in a certain way. So to be able to control yourself, not just the other person, but yourself in a particular way, will cue another person in. And this requires a certain amount of self-knowledge as well. Like, you have to start looking at yourself when you're like standing in line in the coffee shop and you start remembering something. Stop and ask yourself, what did my eyes just do? You know, when you imagine something, or you're lying to someone, someone, stop and ask yourself, what did my eyes just do? And then it gives you the cue, and you start to realize how you respond, and then you can fake your way through all kinds of shit. The other one is mantra yoga, which is a little counterintuitive, but at the same time, if you've read, who's read John St. John, the Crowley, he talks for a certain period about, there's weeks that he goes on, he keeps his mantra going non-stop. He doesn't necessarily say it, but he keeps it going in his head. The ability to concentrate on 2 things at the same time is key, and mantra yoga will teach you how to do that. It doesn't really matter what your mantra is, but being able to keep it going through your regular life while you're doing regular things and interacting with people on a regular basis, and yet to keep your mantra going, is going to help you with being able to concentrate on more than one thing at a time and help you watch all the stuff that's going on. Because most people are in this like blinder world where they only see what their next desire is, and they definitely don't see the reactions of all the people around them. Mantra yoga kind of teaches your mind to focus multiple targets at the same time.
Try practicing the organ sometimes.
What's that?
Try playing with the organ. 2 hands, 2 feet.
There you go.
Talking to you.
Yeah.
What we were just saying reminds me of the story Duquesne's book, Magic of Feeling, where he was talking about Crowley actually attaining the Holy Guardian Angel finally in his journeys through China.
Right,
he was doing the ritual in his head the entire time.
Yeah, while he's
journeying across China.
Yeah.
And he was so into the ritual in his head that him and his donkey actually fell off a cliff.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's from his, he talks about that in his autohagiography or whatever. But, yeah, I mean, and that's actually a perfect evolution of the invocation on the bonus one. Like,
well, that's what it is. That's, that's the example that he's using for that demonstration of that. Yeah.
That's, I think, like, this is sort of like the concept of cold reading yourself, essentially, like being able to analyze your own self-structure and all that sort of thing. I think that's just fundamental, not just to learning how to cold read other people, but to, just the proper magician.
Self-awareness.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be self-aware, right?
That's why he's saying Libra 3 is so important. But I think that you were saying Libra 3 especially allows you to read other people. I think it would also allow you to stop other people from reading you.
Yeah.
You're in more control of your own movements and your own words and your own
Well, that's it. I
thoughts.
mean, sometimes I think you want to give certain impressions, not necessarily for negative reasons, but in order to be conscious of how you're.
For whatever reasons, let's
Yeah.
accept all reasons. I don't really care whether someone wants to be a total
Well, yeah,
bastard with this
exactly.
information or not.
Fair
but-
enough. But I mean, yeah, that's the point, though. It's like if you govern your own, if you want X outcome, then you can guide the whole conversation in that direction just by your, way you're governing yourself. Yeah, exactly.
It's easier to lie to people.
Yeah.
The reasons why we lie, to me, are one of the things that, because people don't like, a lot of people don't like to admit when they're lying.
No.
And to themselves. I mean, it's fine not admitting to the people that you're lying to. Fair enough. That makes sense. Why would you admit to them? But you have to admit to yourself when you're lying. And if you don't do that, then you're already in fucking the left field and you're already fucking up. But, I mean, I think that it's more revealing about ourselves to admit to ourselves when we're lying and why we're lying than anything else. That is one of the most educational things about oneself, is to be like, I'm lying because of this. Because I don't want this person to think that I'm a loser. I don't want this person to know that I had fucking nothing to do last weekend. Or I don't want to hang out with this person, so I'm going to tell them I got a X, Y, or Z, whatever. Like, it's like, why are we lying? That's a big one. And that's one that people just aren't happy about. They don't want to ever say. Because most people don't ever like to admit that they're lying.
As soon as I get to the point of acknowledging the lie to myself, I stop telling it. It's like, oh, well, I guess that was bullshit. I should stop telling that to people.
I can't bullshit myself. I just can't keep it up for anyone else.
It's funny because frequently people lie without intending to right away.
Yeah.
It's not like you think, I'm trying to deceive this person. It's like you automatically lie almost.
Yeah.
And that,
I know a guy who compulsively lies like that. Like it's not even for a particular reason. It's like, oh, what'd you do last weekend? Oh, well, me and my dad, we went to Disneyland and.
yeah.
What?
I knew this one guy who literally, we found out and was, he wound up stalking my girlfriend at the time, which was really creepy. We used to see him like out in the front yard and shit, staring at the house and whatever.
Wow.
And, yeah, it was really bad. But he had told us all these stories about all these different groups he worked for, different nonprofits and stuff like that. And very slowly, we started to unravel the fact that literally everything he had told us about himself was not true. And none of the groups that he said that he ever worked for even existed. But it was just so audacious, like the level of lying that you just would never question that he had lied, because you're just like, how can a person lie about all
Some
this?
people have
right?
a mental condition that they just
Yeah,
make
I was
up
just gonna
bullshit.
say.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, but I saw it in a movie once. Something fantastic.
Mythomania.
No, it's a name about people.
Mythomania or mythomania. It's called when you
That was the
make
thing that I
lies
heard,
up
but yeah.
in such a way that you're convinced that they're real. So it's not that you're purposely lying.
No, it
It's
just
just that you
comes
think
out.
it's real. It's
Yeah,
called
it just-
mythomania or something.
Isn't it the
It's
Munchausen
also
thing? Munchausen?
No, Munchausen is very
I was thinking of that movie, the one with Angelina
Munchausen
Jolie in it,
hypoxia, but,
Girl Interrupted. There
Oh,
was
yeah.
a girl that used to tell stories. It was called Something Fantastica. It was some Latin name, but she would just spew
They
bullshit
made it up for the
24/7.
movie. It's a
Yeah,
lie.
that could be true, but
The writer just compulsively felt it.
yeah, exactly.
But it's unbelievable because some people lie so well and it takes years for you to discover it. I don't know why I used to, like, I don't know it's not happening anymore, but
That's
every
not
person that I allowed to enter my life had that disorder.
Compulsive
It
liar.
was crazy. Like, suddenly I realized, God, everybody who's my friend is a liar, but it would take me years
Yeah.
to figure it out. Like bosses, of course, I wouldn't get paid at the end. You know, things like that. Companies that I worked for that really didn't exist.